Now when the lights turn out on focus, overdose, slow, hope, don't choke this lucid psychosis, kitty cat broke it, blinking out slow, get the most so ferocious.
This is Project Connect, a show where we take people who are up and coming in the Inland Northwest, whether their passion is music, art, photography, sports, or just trying to live out their dream. We pre-select 5 photos off their social media platforms to give them a chance to describe what was going on instead of the caption they had posted with it.
Don't choke this lucid psychosis, kitty cat broke it, leaking out slow, get the most so ferocious. We about both, keep it breathing, keep it dark. We could spark trees and I won't seek meaning. We could catch feelings, speak about dreams and the world so free.
Thanks for tuning in. Let's get started. How's it going, guys? I'm Dan Hanlon with Project Connect. Today I have Blake Coker here, the illustrator as he himself sits here. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming out. We will jump into the first photo here.
For my fraternity, at the end of each year, we kind of have like an end of the year celebration. And so to do that, we went to Canada, actually, just because it was close enough away to be new for everyone who hasn't been there yet, but also is a place where people who might not have been 21 in the US can go and have a good time in Canada. Plus, again, a lot of us hadn't been there before.
Yeah, for sure.
Really beautiful small town. So
What town in Canada?
Nelson, British Columbia.
Oh, okay. I've been there. I went skiing up there a couple times before.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like this small little weird hippie town surrounded by mountains and a giant lake, and it almost seems unreal when you come around this corner and it's just this town just sitting in this valley. It's beautiful.
You yourself, I believe, your birthday is May 4th?
Yep.
May the 4th, Star Wars Day. Probably a big Star Wars fan. You're in the
Absolutely.
movies. You draw a lot. Clearly not just Star Wars. You're drawing comic book characters, a lot of different things. What really inspired you to do this? Like start drawing?
Yeah.
Or who or what?
People ask me that a lot. Like, when did you start drawing? What inspired you? I mean, I've been doing it since I can even remember.
Yeah.
Really. I used to be really into video games, things like Mortal Kombat. Too young to play those, but like those things just inspired what I wanted to draw. And so there'd be hours where, I'd ask my mom if I could use the computer, and I'd pull up like images from video games and draw them when I was in like middle school or in early high school.
Yeah.
And so that's just where I started, just with my love of games and movies, and comics were a huge part of that. So that's where I draw a lot of inspiration, was from growing up doing that.
Okay, for sure. Talking about Star Wars, I just kind of curious. What are your views on it? Do you like? What's your favorite episode?
I think the best episode is the episode I think most people can universally agree on, Empire Strikes Back. Okay. As far as the new trilogy, especially the last one, I realize that it's very divisive and a lot of people hate it. I like it.
Okay.
I like when movies can take people's expectations and just say, F you to the audience, we're going to do something else.
Yeah.
Especially with something as big as Star Wars, I think they took a lot of risks and liberties that I think personally paid off. And I think people just need to get over their pre-existing knowledge or whatever they think they know about Star Wars and just accept what's coming. They have pictures a couple years old. I love Back to the Future. It was a really easy Halloween costume. I always struggled like the day of. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And I saw this like orange vest on clearance, and I was like, I got a denim jacket. I'm doing Marty McFly. Yeah. And
That's awesome.
Now when I'm struggling to think of a costume idea, I'll just throw the vest on. Easy Marty.
That's perfect.
So this was the first book in a series of books. I did that one, I think, 5 or 6 years ago almost at this point.
Oh wow, okay.
That was the first published illustration that I did, and recently, probably about a month ago, I just finished on the 5th book.
Okay.
So I got to do one about each year since then.
That's cool.
And it's crazy because I look at that first book and it makes me cringe, especially the cover. I just sit here and I'm like,
Oh, really?
Show that. But then I look at the work that I did in this last one, and it's like miles, like night and day. Yeah,
That's crazy.
So
That's awesome.
It's a testament to how much work and how much.
Yeah,
work
you
I think
can
I've
you
done.
can see where you were and now where you were at now.
Absolutely,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So this was a trip that I took on my fraternity across the country to help go to different summer camps for people with disabilities.
Okay.
And so they needed things like wheelchair ramps or like a playground built. And our team was there to just help build those things. And so I got to travel the country for 6 weeks and see a lot of different landmarks like Arizona.
Yeah,
which is this
that's awesome.
really cool, like not petting zoo, obviously, but like you drive in almost like Jurassic Park on a car on this track, and you see all these different bears just kind of like in this habitat.
That's crazy.
It was cool, yeah.
That's awesome, though. This is the kind of the time where I will let you throw a plug in. Go ahead and say what you have to say if you have anything going on in your life right now.
Absolutely.
So,
besides trying to make money doing art, I'm always open for like commission work and graphic design work. I recently was able to self-produce a book based on my little brother who has autism called Pieces, and it's just kind of a book kind of giving people a little bit of insight into subjects that might not be well known.
Okay.
I know autism is a pretty big disability that affects a lot of people, but I think it's still very uninformed, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was a big passion project for me, and if I can change people's point of views or inform people using artwork, then I'll be truly happy as an artist.
Definitely.
So you can go to my website at Blake Coker at Squarespace and find all my work there.
Awesome. And you can pick the book up then there?
Yeah,
Sweet.
absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So hope you enjoyed this episode of Project Connect. Have a great day, guys.